I said to my producer, Spencer, last week, I said, oh, thank God we don't have to cover the Sydney Sweeney story. Thank God we don't have to touch that. And of course, ironically, like 2 minutes later, the president and the vice president both weigh in here. Sydney Sweeney is, I don't even know what you would call her. Is she an actress? Is she just a model? She's, the hot young thing of our day and age. And she was hired by American Eagle to star in their jeans ad. And this ad has created quite the controversy. We're going to show, I think we have a couple of photos that we're going to show on this screen. We're not going to show all of the photos here because some of them are a little bit too scandalous for me. But we're going to show a couple of these photos. But here's the thing. Almost immediately following the publication of this ad, there was this divide, the right versus the left. The right said, yeah, this is such a great answer to the woke ads that we were seeing from these companies. You can think of like the Jaguar ads that were so creepy. They were such freaky ads. The Jaguar ads and Jaguar's revenue plummeted as a result of that. You could think of Cosmo Magazine trying to glorify obesity, telling us that these morbidly obese women, that's what you should find sexually attractive, they said, and you're the one that's being, fattest or whatever ism they've assigned it. If you don't find these women attractive, if you like fit and healthy women's bodies to look like women's bodies were intended to look, then you must be problematic. Well, so this is the background against which the American Eagle ad controversy is pitted here. So as soon as this American Eagle ad was released, the tagline, of course, is Sydney Sweeney has great genes. Ha ha ha. What a clever pun. It's not actually even the best pun that I've ever heard, but Sydney Sweeney, it's a collab. Sydney Sweeney created with American Eagle this specific pair of Sydney jeans designed because this is how she wants it. It's supposed to be a pun because she has great genes. She's pretty. She's gorgeous. Haha. It's super funny. Whatever. Doesn't even seem to me to be that unique. Whatever. And there it is. There's a picture on the screen. There's nothing that controversial about these ads. It's a girl and she's wearing denim. She's famous and she's selling jeans for this brand. Okay. So the left's response to this was to say that this was white supremacy. They said this is racist to say that Sydney Sweeney has great genes. What? Why? Well, because talking about her genes, her genes, her DNA, must mean that you're into eugenics, that you want some kind of white master race and you think her genes are superior to other people. This is the left. This is how deranged the left is. Obviously, they were talking about she has great genes. She's pretty. Okay, that's all there is to it. But the left, of course, is crazy in and of themselves. And so this is what annoys me so much that I have to weigh in on this at all. I didn't even want to talk about Sydney Sweeney. I don't care about this ad. But the accusations that this ad, which you're looking at on the screen, is racist or Nazi or has some eugenicist undertone is so stupid. It's so evil that obviously I'm going to defend her against these false allegations. And the reason it annoys me is I know this is going to make me sound like a mom here, but I don't like to defend hypersexual advertisements. This ad objectifies Sydney Sweeney's body and the purpose of her posing like this. And by the way, the pictures that we're showing on the screen right now, these are the most vanilla photos of the entire ad campaign. There were some that were a little bit more sexual. The purpose of her posing like this or in her more sexual poses is to make men lust after her. I'm just saying it how it is. They don't like her. They just sexually desire her body, and they're using that to try to make sales. And listen, again, I'm going to sound like a mom here. Sex is great, but out of its proper context, it's a lie, and it's harmful, and it's immoral. And this kind of sexualized ad promotes sin. The answer to wokeness, and we do have a problem with wokeness, and we should answer it, the answer to wokeness is not hypersexualization. We don't want to promote unhealthy lifestyles, but neither do we want to promote hypersexualization. This is not the proper antidote to wokeness. It's actually very similar to how Andrew Tate identifies correctly, accurately, he diagnoses a societal wrong, the feminization of men, this anti-man, wokeness that is aimed at young men in our culture and all around Western civilization. Andrew Tate accurately diagnoses this problem. That's why he grew such a following, but his prescription for that problem, how to fix it, his antidote is evil. His antidote is, pornography and objectifying women and materialism and self-idolatry. And it leads young men on a path of self-destruction. All of this being said, yes, The Cosmo cover glorifying obesity and gaslighting you if you aren't attracted to that morbidly obese woman, that's obviously wrong. But the antidote to that wrong is not turning attractive women's bodies into sexual objects. So no, Sydney Sweeney is not racist. This ad is not racist. It's not Nazi. It's not white supremacist. It's not eugenicist. But I still wish I didn't have to defend the ads because I don't want to defend hypersexualization because that is also harmful. Also, the men who say that she's not pretty are just betraying to the world that they watch too much porn because women in porn are fake. They have fake hair and fake faces, fake lips, fake eyelashes, fake breasts, fake butts. They're coated in pounds of makeup and body tape, photoshopped and edited. They don't look like real women or behave like real women. And Sydney Sweeney is a naturally pretty girl. She's got a girl next door look. She doesn't need makeup to be fresh and attractive and beautiful. But if you've watched too much porn and your senses are dulled to real, natural, human beauty, then yeah, she's probably not enough to arouse you. That's what happens when you watch porn. Studies show real sex and real women are soon not enough. Soon, you're Glenn Greenwald. By the way, for those of you, and I'm reading the chat here and it's cracking me up, for those of you who are laughing about my Sydney Sweeney take, President Trump actually weighed in on Sydney Sweeney. Yeah, you want to know why? Because Sydney Sweeney was revealed this weekend since, I think it was like a year or two ago. Sydney Sweeney was revealed to be a registered Republican in the state of Florida. A registered Republican in the state of Florida. And this was President Trump's response to that. Because, of course, as soon as he finds out that she's a registered Republican and as soon as his son talks to him about it, this is what he posted on Truth Social. We'll show this first. Sydney Sweeney, he says, a registered Republican, has the quote-unquote hottest ad out there. Sounds like the biggest boomer right now. It's for American Eagle, and the jeans are flying off the shelves. Go get them, Sydney. On the other side of the ledger, Jaguar did a stupid and seriously woke advertisement that is a total disaster. The CEO just resigned in disgrace, and the company is in absolute turmoil. Who wants to buy a Jaguar after looking at that disgraceful ad? Shouldn't they have learned a lesson from Bud Light, which went woke and essentially destroyed in a short campaign the company? The market cap destruction has been unprecedented, with billions of dollars so foolishly lost. Or just look at woke singer Taylor Swift. Ever since I alerted the world as to what she was by saying the truth that I can't stand her, hate, she was booed out of the Super Bowl and became no longer hot. The tide has seriously turned. Being woke is for losers. Being Republican is what you want to be. Thank you for your attention to the matter. There was another post, too, where Donald Trump referenced that his son Barron liked Sydney Sweeney. And I was like, yeah, I bet he does. Listen, interestingly, he talks about the financial implications of the Sydney Sweeney ad. American Eagle was struggling as a company in the first quarter of this year. And since they launched this American Eagle ad, their revenue, their market value has increased, or not their revenue, their market value has increased by between $200 and $400 million. That's how much their stock prices have increased. That's in addition, of course, to the $65 million in free media exposure, because literally everyone, including the president and the vice president of the United States, is talking about this. There was a report that American Eagle actually did an internal poll when this controversy started initially. American Eagle didn't respond. They were quiet for a few days. And some people were like, oh, why are they quiet? Why aren't they making a comment about this? Well, the truth of the matter is because they were running internal polling to see if people liked their ad so that they could calibrate their response to the public backlash here. Well, reportedly, according to American Eagle's internal polling, 71% of their customers approve of the ad and only 29% disapprove. There was also a YouGov poll, and this one was a little more specific. It was about not Sydney Sweeney and the ad and sort of the holistic version. It was narrowly about whether that pun was racist or whether it was appropriate. It asked whether the wordplay was appropriate or not. And according to the YouGov poll, 52% of people, this is not specific to American Eagle consumers, the way that American Eagle's internal polling was, reportedly, the YouGov poll found that 52% of people thought that the wordplay, Sydney Sweeney has great genes, was appropriate, and only 16% thought it was inappropriate. Which, of course, probably explains why American Eagle then came out in defense of Sydney Sweeney in this ad. Not only did their market value increase by, $300 million, a vast majority of not only their consumers, but the American public at large thought that they approved of the ad and thought the wordplay was appropriate. So why wouldn't American Eagle come out in support of their own ad? You gotta love the crisis management response that take a minute and let us run a poll before we decide what we say. Hilarious. Again, although I feel somewhat annoyed that we have to talk about this because I didn't want to initially.